He called them out one by one, and they came in large numbers, not because they feared him, not because they had nothing else to do. They came because they believed in him. They believed he would listen. They believed their voices still mattered. That when he called them together, it was because their opinions meant something. But what did they find? Scolds, rebukes, discouragement. Every concern they raised was treated like a complaint. Every question sounded to him like disrespect. Every opinion that differed from his was pushed aside. He gathered the very people who once stood behind him and spoke to them as though they were the problem. He forgot something important. Leadership is not about calling people together because he has the power to summon them. Leadership is about listening when they arrive. Those people were not against him. They wanted to be heard. They wanted to be understood. They wanted the promises that once united them to stay alive. They came with expectations. They left carrying disappointment. That was the beginning of the change. Day after day, their silence grew. Not because they had nothing to say, but because they started to believe he no longer wanted to hear it. He mistook their patience for acceptance. He mistook their silence for agreement. He mistook their loyalty for something permanent. But loyalty that is never respected eventually becomes a disappointment. And disappointment shared by many becomes something stronger. A multitude. People who discover they share one choice. They share one voice. He may ignore one person. He may dismiss another. He may tell himself that one more opinion does not matter. But when those voices start coming together, he can no longer pretend nothing is happening. Because people who stand together are no longer individuals he can easily dismiss. Slowly things changed. The respect he once enjoyed began to fade. The confidence they placed in him became uncertainty. The admiration that once followed his name became hesitation. The people who once defended him began to question him. Those who once celebrated his leadership began to watch him more carefully. Yet he carried on as though nothing had happened. He smiled. He spoke. He stood before the crowd, still acting like the same leader they once knew. But something was different. The applause wasn't the same. The excitement wasn't the same. And the silence that followed his words started to say more than the applause ever had. So what did he learn? Perhaps nothing. Perhaps he still believed he was right. Perhaps he still believed the people would eventually forget. But even if he learned nothing, they did. They learned that their voices matter. They learned that unity brings strength. They learned that patience should never be mistaken for weakness. And most of all, they learned that leadership is not ownership of people. It is a responsibility toward them. A leader does not lose the people in a single day. He loses them one ignored voice at a time, one unanswered question, one dismissed concern, one broken promise, one moment of disrespect, until one day he looks around and realizes that people who once stood beside him are no longer standing where he expected them to be. That is the danger of forgetting who gave him the opportunity to lead. So if he is a leader, listen. Listen before the voices grow distant. Listen before respect turns to resentment. Listen before unity turns into separation. The people he leads may be patient. They may be forgiving. They may stay silent for a long time. But he should never assume silence means they have nothing to say. Sometimes silence simply means they are learning. And when the multitude has learned enough, it no longer needs to shout. It simply stands together. That is when the leader finally understands what he should have known from the beginning. The people were never beneath the leadership. They were the reason leadership existed in the first place. I tell you this, and I remain Wadizakais.